Hello, girls, boys and girls, boys. This is part of a series I might be doing to start of art by artists that I like and admire and am influenced and inspired by. Starting with possibly the biggest names, one of the biggest names of that in. This is starting with one of the bigger names that people, the most well-known names, Simon Bisley. Everyone knows Simon fucking Bisley, the Biz, the notorious B-I-Z, like the B-I-J, how you get it. The story goes, he got his start in comics by sending a picture of one of the ABC robots holding a baby to 2000 AD, and they said, fuck yeah, come and draw comics. And he revamped the entire ABC Warriors franchise. I guess it was getting a bit stale, and he was good and better than all the other people, so they were like, yeah, come have a draw our fucking comics. This is a big fucking book of the ABC Warriors. Most of these I haven't really read, including these. I never really had much interest in the ABC Warriors, but I've looked through the art because a bunch of these are Simon Bisley's and they're really good. All just black and white inks, obviously. Very good examples of his early black and white ink work. You can already early on see, Bisley. Look at that, very heavy metal, rock and roll, bikes and robots and guns and shit. Fucking cool. Just cool. Very early on in his, layouts and stuff days, but straight away you can see that's just good. You can see he's already got a solid grasp of shit, just making shit look good, laying stuff out, contrasts and balance of black and white. There are a few parts where it gets a bit crazy and a bit hard to tell what's going on with all the black and white. But ultimately, for what it is, for being as early in his career as it was, it's pretty fucking good. These were tail end of the 80s, around when I was born, the end of the 80s that he was doing these. I won't get too much into, Bisley as a person, his life and everything. This is just the art. We were looking at art today. That's what we're doing. Art for the sake of fucking art. Cool art by cool artists. And look at that. It doesn't get much more Bisley than that, does it? It's fucking good. The pose, the muscles, robot guns, fucking bunch of cool shit. And some other... See, I mean, it was about the same time, but some of the other stuff I don't know. Whatever. I was going to say some of the older stuff is a bit meh, bit nice and whatever. But then Bisley came and just fucked everything up with his with that shit like that, man. That's good. That's very good. That is. Oy. God damn. Just cool shit. Just that. Hey. Because you can make a comic, you can, do the art for a story, you can literally illustrate the story that you're given to work on. But you can also make it look really fucking cool, which is what Simon Bisley was, bloody known for. That shit. It's fucking good. God damn, man. And there's a lot of just typical Bisley bits, the arms and stuff. That running pose is a very Bisley running pose. That again is very Bisley. It's all very Bisley. And considering it was Bisley drawing it, it's not really a surprise, is it? God, that's good. God damn, that's good. Whoa, look at that shit. It's fucking hot. And again, I don't know how old he was or whatever. I'm not a fucking biographer. I'm not an historian. I just like the art. And I just know it was early on and it was good. Oh, look at that shit. See, that's... If you're a young guy and you go to a comic agency, a publisher, and go, here's some artwork, and you're drawing shit like this, Of course they're going to fucking take you on. Jesus Christ, look at it. God damn, man. I believe, well, I'm pretty certain I'm older now than he was then. And to be able to draw like this now, I'd be, you know, fucking happy with. But boy, howdy. He certainly was something. I think there's a few covers. Here you go. One of his covers. Very, very different from what he ended up doing. Little goblins laughing in the back there. It's very cool. Some more. That's a cool one. Of course, that's cool as well. It's all very good. Oh, it even says, cool. What a gun. Very graphic with the flower coming out. From there, none of this is really going to be too chronological. I don't know exactly what came where in his timeline. I should do some research, shouldn't I? But fuck that. Let's just look at some pictures. Sláine, the Horned God. They gave him an entire book of Sláine. And the entire thing's hand fucking painted. That was all black and white inks. And this is where he really fucking showed what he could do with... Just look at the very first page. Look at it. Fucking look at it. Gorgeous shit. Acrylics on Bristol board, I believe, is what he would traditionally use. Also spray paint. And I believe it's known that he wasn't using an airbrush. It was literally like car paint. And then, you know, he'd collage and use pencils and inks all within the same pieces. Very, very cool shit. You know, there's a lot to look through for Bisley. This is my collection of Bisley stuff I've gathered over the years. So we won't look through every page of all of it, but I will try to, you know, oh, god damn it. That might be thumbnail material there. Christ, look at that. Fucking gorgeous, man. God! Like, I can paint and draw, but that... And you can see where, in, you know, parts of the actual story where he's using tricks that involve less paint, less ink, lots of washes, and less detail. And then, you know, he uses bigger panels and individual pages to really have fun with it all. So that's quite cool. Just the pencils there, that's really nice. But yeah, then when he gets to like splash panels and shit, then he really goes to town and spends time and makes it look cool. Stuff like that. Fuck. God damn. So fucking good. I mean, I don't think I'm really saying anything too outrageous by saying Simon Bisley is really good. Like, yeah, we fucking know he's Simon Bisley. That's why everybody knows the name Simon Bisley. That's funny. And that's another thing. He's funny as well. He's really like, I don't want to use a fucking shitty term, but street smart. Like, he's got a really good, sharp sense of wit and humour. And he also, if we can find like a good picture of Sláine in this, we'll find one later on. But I think he pretty much based this image of Sláine on himself, like how he looked at the time. And he's a big, quite muscly looking fella. Had a good head of hair, big, strong jawline. So why not fucking put yourself in the comic if you look like a fucking warrior and paint yourself like a fucking warrior. A really sharp blues, man. These are nice. Paint and shit. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. That angle was fucking sick as well. Fingies. Oh. Yeah, just good shit, man. I mean, chances are, if you like Simon Bisley, you've probably got all this shit anyway. But if you haven't, then track him down. This especially, this whole book, they were selling for £1 because they were releasing like a new 2000 AD magazine or something, including like reprints of old books. And this one, the Horned God, the entire thing was literally available for like £1. So that's like, get it if you haven't got it. Again, I haven't even read, I've read parts of this, but I've just looked through it again and again and again at the artwork, because fucking look at it. Fucking the lighting and the everything. The everything. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. There you go. To sum it up, it's all good. And it's like it's not just all this, like, you know, there's those bright blue bits. There's different colours for different parts happening. Like, it's not all just monotone or whatever. He does switch it up. These battle scenes are cool. Damn. I mean, I almost want to make a video literally just slowly flicking through every single one of these books just to show all of his work, but, you know, I don't want to make a fucking 10-hour video. Contrasts and shit, man. It's all fucking good. That's a very sort of like, that's what he looks like. That's what Simon Bisley looks like, if you're unaware. Just painted himself in there. Fuck it, I'm Sláine. Why not? You would if you could. So why bloody not? Yeah, that's pretty iconic. Some good shit, man. Some good shit. So yeah, 90. So around the same time, he went to DC Comics. I don't know if Marvel really took him on. I think he was a bit too sort of like edgy, a bit too much for Marvel maybe. But he did this series of Lobo. Lobo was like a thing. He existed before Simon Bisley, but again, that's basically a Simon Bisley portrait. Simon Bisley came along and just fucked it all over and put his own spin on it. Again, this is just his inks, and he coloured on top of it, which is like this. I think I mentioned before, I've seen this drawing on its own as a black and white drawing, and like the shading here is so good and it looks so like impactful as a drawing, but then with these colours on, it actually looks pretty weak, which is a shame, but that's just sort of how the comics are produced at the time. So it's like, deal with it pretty much. I can already see this video is going to just drag on, so I can't. I want to go through literally everything, but so he did this whole series of Lobo comics, and they're all cool. And then there was a Christmas special where he fights Santa or something. Again, I haven't really read it. This is, when was this? 91. Okay, so I guess just after the first series, but you can see his inking is like getting so much like, I don't want to say better, but you can tell he's got more of a feel for what he's doing, which is just fucking cool. Blowing elves apart. That's fucking cool. And then there was a second series, in 92, Lobo's back. Just, yeah, like a whole other Lobo short series. More Bisley inks. Again, you can see he was sort of more confident with what he was doing, finding his style more. And that was a good series too. The Judge Dredd, he did some Judge Dredd. Let's just see when this is. 91, 93. Okay, so around a similar sort of time. Now, he did a bunch of Judge Dredd. He also, it was quite funny, he tried to draw this in a Judge Dredd comic, which is Judge Dredd without his helmet on, which just doesn't happen. It was not a thing. Judge Dredd was never seen without his helmet. It's part of his character. It's who he is. He was never seen without his helmet. Simon Bisley drew this in the comic, and the editors said, no, not going to happen. Fuck off. So that wasn't allowed. It was vetoed, I guess, as they would say. And they said, no, sorry, Simon Bisley. You may be Simon Bisley, but even Simon Bisley doesn't get to draw Dredd without his helmet. This is the Batman Judge Dredd crossover book collection. It's all of the Judge Dredd Batman stories in one. The first one, Judgment on Gotham, I believe it's called, is Yeah, Judgment of God. Simon Bisley. Again, well, not again, but this is a fantastic example of Bisley's comic book work, of his drawing, his painting, his layouts, his humour is in there, his use of texture, of collage, of different styles of producing an image. It's all fucking good, man. Look at that. He gets warped into Megacity, finds Mean Machine and has an altercation with him. And it's all just fucking good. Look at that. It's iconic shit, man. Again, I'd happily just flick through every page, but got a bunch I want to show off. I'm just showing off my book collection, really. Look at that. Eey, fucking cool. That's cool. That's cool. Little characters and shit. Little cartoony bits. It's all fucking good. Judge Death shows up. Fucking like that. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. And a bunch of other UK artists have stories in this book, which I will probably get onto when I talk about some of my other favourite artists in this new series of videos I'm doing. That is very iconic. That's like a really well-known image of Judge Dredd. One whole page, just Judge Dredd with his gun out, his knob in his suit there. May or may not have inspired me largely with certain things I'm known for painting myself. And it's not necessarily I'm going to paint this. It's sort of, it shows you can paint that. If you see that in a book, you're like, he painted that. I could paint shit like that. That's cool. It's not like, oh, you've got to hide the naughty bits or whatever. It's like you can do some fucking cool shit. There's no reason not to. Battle of the Chins. Really cool. Good shit. So that's Bisley's part in that. There's others, of course. Judge Dredd, more of it. This was, aside from the 2000 AD comic, which is this, there was a Judge Dredd magazine, which was obviously Judge Dredd Central, and it was a lot more sort of like hard-hitting, you know, a bit kooky, a bit more fun, but a bit more sort of grizzled every now and again, more violent, more bloodied than just the 2000 AD. So this is a collection of those of Judge Dredd comic strips by a few artists. One of those artists in particular, Simon Bisley, very, very cool to see where he's probably really having fun with the comics he's doing. Marker pens, you can see for most of the colours, lots of white spaces where he's just sort of like, it's unnecessary to put that in, the setting isn't really the issue, it's more just what's happening in, you know, the setting. So whatever, marker pens for the colour, but with paint on top of them for certain panels, just to sort of emphasise certain things, kind of like in like SpongeBob and those, you know, Ren and Stimpy, those kinds of cartoons, where they zoom in on, you know, like a patch of skin that looks all gnarly or whatever, and it's all like painted nicely as opposed to the graphic, you know, animation style. It's quite reminiscent of that in here, which is cool to see. So there's a few Bisley stories. They're all very short, like 6 or 8 or so pages. You know, some very cool artwork. Because it's, you know, obviously small, quickly done comics. You can see they're quickly done. Not too much attention paid to like background details and stuff. But there's room for really cool looking artwork. Some really cool Dredd poses and stuff. And some good shit like that. Green brains coming up. Right. Badass bikers again, typical Simon Bisley stuff. And again, I've realised I say again a lot because I re-emphasise points a lot. Cool painted shit, and then just marker pens for the colours here. But that's good because you don't need that fucking aces. That's what that is. That's really, really cool. It's really, really fucking cool. Yeah, you don't need to stay consistent like it's almost boring if a comic looks the same all the way through. It's quite cool to have it look different page to page, panel to panel. That's pretty badass. Got the detail and shit in there. Again, hand painted acrylics and shit. That's fucking cool. It looks like he's cut that out and stuck it on and used the negative space of what he cut out to spray his stencil here. Good shit, man. So yeah, as I say, there's a few other artists in here as well, but there's also some other funny Bisley stories. There's one here again. Again. Santa. This time it's Judge Dredd, not Lobo. Fighting Santa, he kills Rudolph. And then murders Santa. I forget why. I have read these ones, but I don't really pay too much attention to them. Again, simple. Again, simple, but really, really cool looking pose. Typical Bisley stuff. Good shit. And then Judge Dredd fucks up some animals. Or this guy fucks up some animals, and then Judge Dredd fucks him up, I guess. Blam, blam, blam. Cool, bloody cool. What else we got? This was a bit before, I think before Judge Dredd. When? First printed. When was it first printed? 96. Oh yeah, so yeah, pretty early on. A Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kevin Eastman comic. I believe the story for this was based on wanting to do the longest gunfight in a comic book. So you can see very early Simon Bisley inks with digital colour over the top, which it's okay. It doesn't really do his artwork justice, I believe. But, you know, ultimately it's Bisley, isn't it? So it doesn't really fucking matter. Look at that. That's fucking cool. Some good shit there. It's called Body Count. This copy is in Spanish because I couldn't get hold of an English copy. I got this online. I could not find an English copy online at all. The only one I could find was Spanish, so I got it. Because again, I don't read. I'm not a fucking nerd. So I just look at pictures. You know, because artwork's good. See, this digital colouring here is pretty naff. I'm not a fan of that. It doesn't look too good, and it's not, you know, it's not Bisley's best work, but it's fun. Ultimately, it's fun. It's fun and enjoyable. A little romp, gunfights and car chases with a turtle man, cool poses with guns and guts and shit. You know, it's just a larf. He's got a gun with a thing. He's tossing a grenade, lob a grenade. Shooting people up. It's Raphael with machine guns. What more do you fucking need? Tits. Good to have them in there. Good old Simon Bisley tits. That's cool. His painted covers and things. I think there's some more in there. Yeah. Good. Look at that. That's fucking ace. Tits. Fighting. Good shit. That's I'm really glad to have that one. It's a fun book to look through. Similarly, is this bad boy written by Frank Miller of Sin City, as you can probably see, and The Dark Knight Returns. Is that the one he did? Yeah, art by Simon Bisley, story by Frank Miller. A bit of an odd one. Not too well known. Not too well liked. I don't believe. I tried reading this. I didn't find it too interesting. And again, not Simon Bisley's best work, but you know, again, it's Simon Bisley. It's a nice one to have in the collection at least. It's an example of stuff he's done. Again, I think this was pretty early on in his career. Got to have the tits in there, bionic arm. That's cool. Yeah, so I won't spend too much time on this one because it's a bit kind of meh as far as his artwork goes. It's a nice that it exists. There's some fun bits to it, but on the whole, it's kind of meh. I think the best bit for me is this cover. It's very, very cool. I like that a lot. Typical Bisley, Biz 97. There you go. Quite early on. This is just, I got this because it's, you know, Simon Bisley's covers outside of, you know, the typical superheroes and stuff he had done. Very, very cool, very iconic. And this is Doom Patrol. He did covers for a whole series of them, and these are some of them. They're very cool as well because all the covers, the style of this comic cover was to have this line with the title. So it's good to see him working around that and incorporating it into, you know, the composition of the covers that he was painting. Superman in there. Very cool shit. Very good composition. Very cool. That's fucking sick. I like that a lot. Very typical Bisley angles and shit. Very cool, very cool, very cool. There's also Hellblazer. He did a lot for that. He did a whole book, and I think he did a bunch of covers separately. I've always seen the book in the store when I wasn't going to buy it, and then every time I went to buy it, they never had it. I could probably get it online, I guess, but, you know, whatever. That's fucking good. Some good Bisley shit there. More very typical Bisley poses, strong stances, good arms and gloves and things. That's fucking cool and funny. Good shit. More modern Bisley. You know, he did a whole series of illustrations of Bible stories, which is cool. I need to get the book of that. And there's a couple of Simon Bisley art books I want to get hold of. Outside of that, more modern Bisley. This is from 2013, where he came back and did a Horned God sequel strip back in the original 2018 magazine, which is this, which is clearly Bisley. You can see it's Simon Bisley, which is good. But again, while it's fucking good, obviously, it's all hand painted. It's great action. Clearly, the man back at it. But I do feel it's sort of, you know, he grows and changes as an artist, so it's fine. But it is a departure from his old work. And I think his old work was so iconic, it really sticks with people. So when you see his newer stuff being different from that, it's cool that he's doing what he wants and he's growing and changing and adapting to how he feels and how he is at the time. But his older stuff is always going to be, you know, the main thing. And I picked these up as well in 2000 and something, 2014. The year after this. 13 Coins. He did the artwork for this series. You know, pretty great. You know, fairly standard, great Bisley covers. Good shit. And then he did the interior artwork as well. I've no idea what the fucking story is. Again, haven't read a single word of it. I just know it's Simon Bisley, so I picked it up. You know, modern Bisley. Why would you not? That's really, really cool. But also, I think this is possibly some of the best artwork in the whole series of the comic. And it's right at the start of the first issue, which is kind of a shame. But I guess that's just sort of how things go. And again, modern digital colours on Simon Bisley's artwork. While it is cool, it looks good. It does feel hugely different to you know, his older, more traditional stuff like this. It loses some of the Bisley, I feel. It's too smooth, I think. The colour's sort of too perfect when it's done like that. So, you know, if it's stuff like that, give me this over this any day. It's cool that it's still Bisley. You know, I'm glad I picked these up just to have them in the collection. But, yeah, I don't think the story is necessarily great for what Bisley does either. There's a lot of sort of like, meh. Like, it's action, but it's not, I don't know, whatever. But like I say, the artwork, you know, the covers are some of the best parts because they're hand painted, so they look, you know, like Bisley artwork. But then in the interiors are sort of, which is kind of a shame. And again, not a fuck of an idea what's going on in the story. It's called 13 Coins, it's not bad. But there's that, so, you know, that's cool. I'll probably leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll have more artists on the way soon that I'll talk about. Bye!